Hey everyone, it's Bree. Welcome back to my channel. I'm back in another video, and I'm here to talk about the FNAF movie. Oh my god, y'all. 8 years. 8 years in the making. But what's funny is that I personally did not wait 8 years because I was a late bloomer to FNAF. I didn't get into FNAF until 2018. And so I didn't have to wait as long as some of you guys waited, but it is here. It is here. So I watched it in the movie theater on premiere day. I really wanted to make sure that my tickets contributed to those first box office numbers, because I really wanted FNAF to do well on this opening weekend, and it looks like it did. I think the last thing I saw was that it's projected to make like $130 million for opening weekend, and I also believe that as of today it is Blumhouse's biggest movie premiere, which is amazing. But yeah, I wanted to talk about my overall thoughts about the movie. First of all, 10 out of 10, 10 out of freaking 10. I personally loved it. Now, I have seen some of the critiques online, and although I think all the critiques are valid, not the movie critiques per se, but I'm talking about critiques from other fans and in the FNAF community. I've seen some of those critiques like on Twitter, and some of them are valid. Some of them are definitely valid, but I personally love this movie. I think this was the first movie I've ever watched that made me physically react. Like it was just so amazing. Now, I will say, because I'm giving my thoughts on the movie, this is a spoiler warning, okay? I will be talking about spoilers. I will be talking about what happened in the movie. So this is your warning to click off the video if you have not watched the movie and you don't want to get spoiled, because I will be talking about specific plot points in this film, okay? So one last time, I'm going to put it in the description, the title, and I'm saying it here. This is a spoiler review of the FNAF movie, okay? You've been warned. Now, getting into this movie. First of all, let's talk about the plot, right? Let's talk about the story. I'm not going to get into the whole story. You know, I'm sure plenty of other people have done that at this point. But I do really like the direction that they went with this movie in terms of, you know, the whole dream sequence with Mike and him trying to find answers to his brother being kidnapped. And even that plot point, the fact that his motivation for being there was that he was looking for answers to what happened to his brother's kidnapping, as well as him being desperate for a job to take care of Abby. I really like that they gave him a solid reason for not only taking the job, but also staying at the job. Because the one thing with the games, right, is that everybody would always say, why in the world would anybody work this job? And why would you keep coming back? And there was always a theory within the games that, you know, it was Mako Afton, you know, coming back to each location. I think to either find William or to, you know, put an end to things. I'm not, listen, I mean, I know some of the lore, but I'm not an expert. So please bear with me if I say things wrong or if my theories are off, right? But I like this. I like the motivation. I like the concept of him going back into his dreams every single night to find answers. I thought that was a really cool concept. Now, I walked away with a lot of questions, right? And, you know, if anybody is, you know, familiar with this franchise, you already know that that is FNAF to its core, is that with every game and now with every movie, you're going to be looking for answers. But I think those answers are going to be more clear cut in the upcoming movies if they get approved to make more movies, because, you know, it's a movie, right? So it has to make sense for the audience. Whereas with the games, it's, you know, still a little bit vague. But a couple things, right? For one, Abby. What's up with Abby? Abby's connection to the ghost children is something that is very interesting to me. I'm very curious to see if that is explained. Like, why does she have this connection to them? Why is it such a strong connection that she has to these ghost children? Even before they go to the location, she has this connection to them. You know, when Mike goes into her room telling her that she needs to eat dinner, and she's like, you're sitting on my friend. And so she has this connection with these ghost children, but no one really knows knows why or how it happened. And then with Garrett, right? So obviously Garrett is, you know, Mike's younger brother. He got kidnapped, and then we find out in the William Afton scene at the end that he was also killed. And so I'm curious what happened to his spirit. I have a couple people think that Garrett might be Balloon Boy, and that's why Balloon Boy kept popping up to get Mike's attention, that, you know, he might be Balloon Boy. I think he might be the puppet. And again, it gets a little tricky, right? Because you have people that are trying to compare the movies to the games, but I honestly do think it's going to be two separate universes. I don't think it's all within the same. I think that was also proven with Vanessa's character, because at first I was like, why in the world would you name the security guard Vanessa in this timeline? So I think even that goes to show you that the movies are going to go into a slightly different direction than the game. So I don't think it's a 1-for-1 to the game, but I do think there are some parallels you could pull from the games, obviously. And so I could see a world where Garrett may possess the puppet, and I have suspicions that the very next film will be around the puppet and how the puppet came to be. I think you got a lot of those hints towards the end of the film, especially when you hear the audio from that mini game with the puppet in it. And so I'm very curious to see where they go with the second film as well. Also, I have to mention Matthew Lillard, oh my gosh, like, he did a phenomenal job as William Afton. The voice, the just how he portrayed that character, the nonchalantness of him, the ego, like he portrayed William Afton so well, like, especially in, like, just every scene that he was in, but especially when he was Steve Raglan, like, even him kind of, you know, putting on in that scene was like great. I know people were a little skeptical, right, in that scene when he you know, looked at Mike's information, and he, you know, kind of took a pause. He was like, wait a minute, Mike? And I'm not gonna lie, when I was in the theaters, I was like, Mike who? Mike who? Say the name, say it. But of course they weren't gonna say it yet. But it is confirmed that it's Mike Schmidt, so he's not an Afton. And I think that his reaction to him reading that name is more so that he realizes, oh, this is Garrett's brother. I think it was him making that connect, not that he was an Afton, but you never know. But yeah, again, phenomenal job. That ending scene of him becoming Springtrap was, oh my god, I honestly didn't think we were gonna get a scene like that. I thought at the most it was gonna like cut to black and we would maybe hear him get spring locked. I didn't think we were gonna get a full spring locked scene, but we did, and they executed that so well. Because I'm not gonna lie, right, like, yes, obviously we know that William Afton gets spring locked in the games, but I always had a hard time visualizing it. So now to see it, and to see it on the big screen, I'm like, wow, this is like real. And yeah, I really need to watch it again. I plan on watching it again. I recently purchased Peacock because, funny enough, when me and my friend went to go see it, we had missed like the first 5 minutes of it because the line was super long for like popcorn and stuff. And so we went back to watch like the first 5 minutes of it that we had missed with the security guard, the first security guard that was there and was trying to escape. But yeah, I mean, just overall that scene was just so amazing. The only critique that I have, right, is, you know, of course he said the infamous line, you know, I always come back. But I feel like he said it kind of like casually. You know what I mean? Like, I was expecting like how he said it in the games, like, I always come back. Like, I was expecting like that. He kind of said it like a little like subtly, but it still hit. You know what I'm saying? He still said the line, but I think I would have preferred more like energy behind that line. Outside of that, like I said, the scene was really, really good. I can't wait to go back and watch it again. Also, too, you know, I've said before, like, I don't I don't read the books, right? I don't read any of the books, never read the books, right? But it was interesting to see people online tie the movie and especially that ending to the books, because apparently when Abby puts the drawing up to show them what happened to them, the animatronics, apparently that was pulled from the books as well. Honestly, honestly, the movie low-key makes me want to go read the books just so I can see if I can find any parallels myself. But yeah, overall, every single actor and actress, just everybody that worked on this film, you could tell they put their blood, sweat, and tears into this movie. I mean, it was phenomenal. Like, all the actors and actresses did an amazing job. Blumhouse, phenomenal. Like, even some of the kill scenes that we saw, right? Like Max getting chopped in half. I was not expecting that at all. Like, that was like a great touch, a great horror element. And I did see people critique that as well. People saying that this movie wasn't very scary. Looking back, I can see what you mean. Like, there weren't a lot of jump scares in this film for sure. They definitely leaned heavily into the story elements, but I don't mind that. I think I would have actually, I like the way that the movie played out. I like that we got a lot of story and a lot of backstory, because I think that's what a lot of the fans were looking for. They're looking for backstory. They're looking for an explanation behind these games and being able to kind of tie things together. And so I didn't mind that it didn't have a whole bunch of horror in it, but I can understand for the casual fan why they may have wanted some more of that. But yeah, overall, just really good. I will say Aunt Jane's character, I could have done without her. But I understand it gave a reason for the vandalism that took place, you know, with her wanting to get custody of Abby. But I don't know, I could have did without her, but I understand what they were going for with that. Now Vanessa. Now y'all know, if y'all watch this channel and y'all have watched my FNAF playthroughs, y'all know I always got beef with Vanessa from the games, at least. And even with this movie, I'm like, why would Scott name her Vanessa? That throws things off in the timeline. But I'm not gonna lie, my feelings about Vanessa changed throughout the movie. I started out not really feeling her like that. And again, I don't know if it's because of my bias of not liking her in the games, but I'm just like, you know, this Vanessa security guard, she's just weird. She's just weird. She's odd. Why is she so infatuated with the animatronics? Why is she acting like, you know, all this is just so casual and not a big deal? But then once we started to peel back the layers and learn more about her, we learned that not only did she grow up pretty much with, you know, Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, but also that her father is William Afton. That was a great twist. That was a great twist. I love that. And so in that moment, I'm like, okay, so this is kind of changing things up a little bit, because it's not Elizabeth anymore. It's Vanessa is, you know, William's daughter. And so I'm curious to see how that plays out, and I'm hoping that she pulls through in the next movie. And so yeah, I did like that twist, and even seeing her kind of sacrifice herself to save Abby and Mike in the end really made me like her more as a character. And even seeing her kind of stand off with her father too, I think was a great touch. It just, God, the movie, listen, I don't care what Noah say, I don't care what the movie critics say, I don't care what IGN says. I really enjoyed this film. The story, the scenes, the animatronics, the Easter eggs, just everything about this movie was just so worth the wait. Like, I'm so glad that Scott and Blumhouse took their time with this movie. It really showed, and I'm so happy that it's paying off and that it's showing in the box office numbers. Like, they did a phenomenal job with this, and I can't wait to see what they do in the second movie. Oh, and then also I'd like to mention the cameos, right? So obviously we all knew that Corey Kenshin was going to be in this movie from, you know, the trailers. Markiplier, you know, had recently confirmed that he wasn't going to be in it due to some scheduling conflicts with him filming his own film. However, MatPat is a liar. MatPat is a liar. That man sat on camera on GT Live and lied to our faces and said that he was not invited to be in the movie or on the set, and he lied about it. But you know what? I'll give him a pass on this. This was a delighted surprise. Like, I was very excited to see MatPat pop up on the screen. I was so happy for him that he got the cameo. And yeah, also too, I will say that going to see the movie in theaters was just an amazing experience, and I'm so glad that I did that as opposed to watching it on Peacock, because just the experience in the theater was it was so surreal, right? Because I've actually never watched a movie on premiere day. I have never seen any movie in my entire life on its premiere day. I always wait until like a week after or a couple days after, and like I go like in the midday when like no one's in the theater. But this was the first time I went to go see it on premiere day, and it was amazing. it was amazing being around other members of the FNAF community that honestly I didn't even know existed in my town. As I've said before, I live in a very small town. I'm not thinking many people even know what FNAF is where I live, but it was just so cool to walk into the theater and see people cosplaying, people in costumes. Literally, some of the workers that worked at the movie theater had their costumes on. I saw one person dressed up as Balloon Boy. I saw another person dressed up as Bonnie, and it just was so surreal. And even watching it in the movie theater, people weren't like loud and obnoxious. Like, people were quiet when they were supposed to be quiet, and then when like Matt Pat showed up, Victoria X Kenshin showed up, even when they showed Max being bit in half, everybody like reacted at the same time. And you know, it just was, it was an amazing experience to watch this film in theaters with other members of the FNAF community. Like, it's something that I will literally remember for a very long time, because it was just such a great experience. And so yeah, if you haven't seen it in theaters specifically, I highly recommend that you do. It's such a different experience seeing it on the big screen. And like I said, I'm really excited to see where they take the second movie. I know people were speculating if they were going to go in chronological order or if they were going to go into game order. I believe the director said that they're going to do their best to tie it into FNAF 2, but you know, they'll see how it plays into the story and how they're able to make it work. But yeah, I'm also excited to see Jim Henson's Creature Shop tackle the toy animatronics. I'm really excited to see, you know, them create them as well. And yeah, overall, like I said, I really enjoyed the movie. I enjoyed the cameos, the Easter eggs, all the performances. Like, I don't really have many bad things to say about this movie. As I said before, I understand the critiques with there not being much horror elements in it. I also understand the critiques about the movie, you know, could have been longer, which I agree with. That is something that I agree with, that the movie definitely could have been longer. I wish it was at least 2 hours. It did feel a little bit short, but again, I feel like they definitely delivered. And like I said, my personal critique is just that I kind of wish that, you know, William Afton in the film kind of put more emphasis on his infamous line. But outside of that, I don't have many complaints. So I'll give it like a 9 out of 10. I'll give it a 9 out of 10. It was pretty good, and hopefully it won't take another 8 years to make the next film. I'm sure it won't. I'm sure that, you know, now that they're kind of, you know, back on track and they have like a good like production company and staff and actors and actresses, I'm sure that now that they have all of those things, as well as Jim Henson's Creature Shop now being a part of the mix, I'm sure that they'll be able to get the next movie out you know, sooner rather than later. But yeah, man, this is really the year of FNAF. It's been great, and we got, you know, Help Wanted 2 coming up as well towards the end of the year, so I'm excited to watch those gameplays when it comes out. But yeah, I think that's all I have to say about the FNAF movie. But let me know, please, your thoughts on the FNAF movie, on certain scenes. Like I said, this is a spoiler review, so please do not read the comments if, you know, you don't want to be spoiled, you know, about anything that happened in the movie. But please, I really want to talk about the movie with you guys, so leave all your thoughts, comments, concerns in the comments down below. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you guys go ahead, give it a big thumbs up, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and I will see you guys in the next video.